Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome to the show. It's Ringside Report. I am Dave Simon. Fred Garcia is right here. AJ DeLesio is right here.
Woo-hoo.
We are here with you. We are on TSN 690 on Friday nights. YouTube Live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. We do the special Ringside Report live on YouTube. You can watch us. You can watch this very show on YouTube every Thursday night at 8 p.m. live, which is pretty cool, too. RingsideReport.net for more info on all of our programs on the Ringside Report Network. We've got Wrestling Uncensored, the pro wrestling show, What's Fandom in Japan, which is the Japanese pro wrestling show. We're going to do a big show on Saturday night for All Out AEW, All Elite Wrestling, their big show. Last pay-per-view before they go on TV. Ooh. But we here on Ringside Report, the MMA show, we talk about MMA. We talk about the UFC and Bellator and other and just MMA promotions sometimes. You know, who knows? If it's a real fight, if it's not a pro wrestling match, it's covered on this very program. For the most part. I mean, if it's interesting to us, mostly it's UFC stuff.
We covered Artem Lobov and Paulie Malignaggi, so we cover a lot of stuff.
We've done bare knuckle boxing coverage as well, so you know we cover it all. We cover it all here on Ringside Report, and we've got a jam-packed show. We're gonna talk about the UFC in China coming up on Saturday morning, 6 a.m. start time. 6 a.m. start time for the main card. Jessica Andrade making her first defense of the UFC Strawweight Championship, that belt she won over in Brazil, beating Rose Namajunas, which was super impressive. And Jessica Andrade taking on Weili Zhang, who I don't really know much about. We'll try and learn a little bit about Weili Zhang here on the show tonight as she is challenging in China. It will be in Shenzhen, China, and that's why we have the 6 a.m. Eastern start time for the UFC card coming up on Saturday. Henry Cejudo looks like he has his next opponent scheduled. The UFC in New York City in November, Madison Square Garden, UFC 244. That card looking pretty stacked. One fight on that card, Kelvin Gastelum and Darren Till, a little bit controversial, and we'll talk about that fight in a bit, whether or not you guys think it's controversial at all, or maybe it's just a good fight that we all want to see. Also, a former UFC light heavyweight title challenger could be coming back to the UFC in the heavyweight division. We'll talk about that dude. But first, to start the show, I want to talk about the former UFC lightweight champion, former UFC welterweight champion, the prodigy, BJ Penn. Baby J Penn.
Or Jelly Bean Penn.
Who's been acting like a baby as of late, just getting into scuffles left and right. A few weeks ago, it was outside of a strip club, right? He
did pretty well
on top of a guy.
He had good side control. He was doing very well.
Holding a guy down. This week, we saw two videos come out of BJ Penn brawling outside of a bar in his native Hawaii. So the first video we saw was BJ Penn he had him back mounted, right?
No, that's actually the second video.
No, the first video that came out.
It's the first one we saw, but in the timeline, it's the second video.
Right, I guess in the timeline that they're saying it's the second video. But the first video that came out that I saw this week was BJ Penn on top of a guy with the guy's belly to the ground. He had him back mounted, flattened out, could have been choking him, but instead he was laying punches in. And you're like, oh, okay, BJ Penn doing some embarrassing stuff again. And then another video came out where I guess this is earlier in the fight with the same guy, where BJ's like, hit me. And apparently he's using the F word and not the 4-letter F word, the 6-letter F word.
Say what?
Either way, you can't say it.
Come on, Dave, say it.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm not saying
Spell
that
it
one.
out.
No, I'll say mother effer or something, like I did last week on the show.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that 6-letter F word on the show. That word is banned, whether we're live on YouTube or, you know what I mean? I don't say that word.
We're a classy show, man.
We're a classy show. We don't say that kind of stuff. Apparently, BJ Penn did say that kind of stuff and then, asked this man to hit him, and then he did hit him, and he knocked him down. I don't know if he knocked him out because BJ was pretty quick to get back to his feet, but it was definitely a knockdown. I wouldn't call it a...
If it was Herb Dean, it would have probably been stopped. That's what I'm saying, okay?
All right.
Like, Herb Dean would have stopped it. Mazzagatti maybe lets it go, but Herb Dean definitely stopped
Fred, it could go either way. Early stoppage or he comes in too late. One of the two with Herb, that's for sure. But honestly speaking, I mean, BJ, I don't know what's up with this guy. When you look at BJ Penn back in 2006, you're looking at a guy who was just a legend.
That's 13 years ago.
It's 13 years ago, but 2006, we were talking about BJ Penn and looking at him as like the greatest MMA fighter out there.
Look at him now.
And the best BJJ fighter out there, a guy that has legendary status. And you're right. Look at him now. What's going on, BJ? What the heck is going on?
Oh, it's sad. Look, to me, BJ Penn will always have like a special place. He's one of my first favorite fighters. I went to Vegas to see him and George St-Pierre at UFC 94. And look, I went to Vegas because of GSP, but I also went there because his opponent was BJ Penn. Like, there's not a lot of people that would have made me travel all the way there. And it's sad to see BJ, like, so many allegations, like with his ex-wife, was it? Problems here. This is a couple of fights we see him get involved. I'm not sure what to say. I told Dave earlier that I think the UFC should probably cut ties with him. Like, the UFC should probably say, look, BJ, get your life in order. I'm not saying, like, if I'm the UFC, I tell BJ, I'm not saying we're never going to do business again, but right now we need to, like, be
If I were the UFC, I would cut ties with BJ Penn and hire that guy that knocked out BJ Penn.
Yeah, but wait, Dave. Not to, like, to
You know
jump
what
the
I mean?
gun.
Put him in the cage instead. Put that guy who knocked out BJ Penn, or just put them in a fight. Like, be like, all right, you guys want to fight each other so bad, let's do it in the octagon.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if you're looking at the video, the first part of it was BJ Penn not really wanting to get involved with the fight. So he was actually trying to talk and, like, rationalize with the guy. But rumor has is that this guy here, he's an Hawaiian. His name is, I think, I forgot what it was, Kimo or something like that.
People know his name?
People know his name because he tends, from rumor has it, is that he tends to harass BJ Penn all the time.
Really?
So the thing is that BJ Penn actually was rationalizing with the guy, but apparently he gets harassed all the time by this guy.
You sure about that?
Yeah,
because I didn't see that video.
Yeah,
What I
not
saw
that-
is BJ Penn pretty much challenging
Where
him.
are you getting this story
I'm
from?
getting my sources from
See,
MMA News.
Again, this is
But look into
this
it.
is nonsense because
No, it's not.
Fred nor I have heard this story
Hey, man,
that
AJ
you're
digs
presenting.
deep, man. I'm TMZ, AJ.
Yeah, no, AJ, you're terrible because
Listen.
last week you were telling us that guy who
Which guy?
punched the old man in the pub in Ireland
Yeah.
wasn't Conor McGregor.
He dissed
And then
proper
the
12. What do you
next
expect?
day, Conor McGregor was like, yeah, that was
Same
me.
night.
Yeah, same day. Like
So-
a few hours later, news broke Conor McGregor doing an interview saying, yeah, it was me. Sorry,
Thanks, Connor.
Sorry about that.
Thanks, Connor. At least he listens to our show. But back
He
to what I'm
didn't
saying.
admit that he punched that guy.
No.
He just admitted he was wrong. Conor McGregor, by the way, admitted really he didn't take any fault for anything that he's done. He's like, oh, things are wrong and I need to put
No, it
things
sounded
better.
like a fault. Come on,
Nah,
Dave.
come on.
I listened to that interview by McGregor, not to jump topics here, but I thought McGregor was pretty sincere in what he said. He admitted the fact that he did wrong. And you know what? He's got to live up to it. And you know what? At least he came out. There's so many professional fighters out there that have done many things wrong, and yet they've said nothing. Look, you can like or hate Conor, but the truth of the matter is he did come out. There's a video statement of him saying what he did. And you know what? It's Conor. And for Conor to apologize, I
Yeah.
give him kudos. But
Okay.
back to
we
BJ
get-
Penn, I want to say one thing about
'cause
BJ.
We'll address your Conor McGregor nonsense later.
What?
But yeah, BJ
That's
Penn,
not
it's
proper.
just sad. It's just sad. And honestly, if you're the UFC, how do you continue to put this guy in fights? Forget the fact that he hasn't won a fight in 10 years and he keeps losing every time you put him out there and he looks worse and worse every time. All this stuff outside of the cage, like at this point, you gotta sever ties with BJ Penn,
but
right?
Not really, Dave.
Fred?
I would at least take a break from BJ Penn. When is this fight with Nick Lentz? Is it?
It's coming up soon.
When is
actually.
it that coming up?
Yeah,
Because
I don't know.
if that's coming up soon,
thought it
I'm
was
just
in
like
December.
postponing that fight for right now, and I'm saying like
It was
BJ,
November, December.
get your stuff in order. We can't have these stupid stories. At some
Yeah.
point, you're not worth all these issues. Like you said, BJ hasn't won a fight in like 10 years. Like he's not worth all these headaches.
Let's just say there is some truth in the fact that this guy is harassing BJ. What do
And
you
by
want
the way,
guy to
just
do?
a second.
Where is this theory
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
from?
Because
What are you
because
talking
from what
about?
I read,
man.
I just read
You're
a.
the only person presenting this.
Hey man,
theory.
listen. That's why you listen to this show, because I'm going to tell you the
that's
opposite
not
side.
why you listen to the show.
Listen, let's say
Maybe you
it's
listen
factual.
for some
BJ
crazy
Penn's
guy.
BJ Penn's representative said that the guy hit BJ Penn first. They didn't say anything about him harassing BJ Penn at
hey, listen,
multiple places. They just said like he started it, and basically that's their point of view of the issue.
which is perfectly fine. But in Hawaii, apparently, this guy does harass BJ. And let's just say that is the case. What do you want BJ to do? Do you want to just
Walk
the video?
away.
He
Walk
did.
away. You're BJ Penn.
He did walk away. He did get into some trash talk, which most people will get into trash talk if they're in that situation. But BJ did walk away. And yes, he was talking and he got knocked F out, right?
He wasn't talking. He was challenging him. He was saying
he had
like,
his
"Go
arms
ahead,
dropped.
hit me,"
Yeah.
with some bad words. Like
Right.
those are fighting words. That's
Sure they
BJ Penn wanting to fight, and
then the second part of the video is where BJ Penn wakes up from his like 30-second coma there and realized, you know what? I'm going to take the lights out of this guy. And he did. He had a top mount, and you can see that video, and he was just wailing away. They needed like 3 big bouncers, I guess, to pry him off this guy. That guy was a much heavier guy than BJ. He's lucky. And like, there's a lot of comments like, oh, look at MMA fighter, legendary guy got knocked out. Well, you know what? It can happen to everybody when alcohol's involved. And that's the problem with BJ. I think he's in a circle right now where he needs to get away from that lifestyle and get back and train away from Hawaii.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You're seriously presenting BJ Penn needs to reevaluate, get his life in order, and train properly because he can do it. He can come back and be successful. No, it's over, man. It's over.
What are you saying that
What do
for?
you mean what? Have you
He's only
seen
like-
him? Have you seen him fight recently?
Yeah, it's not
What
good.
are you talking about?
It's not good.
Why are you telling me that he's not John Jones, where John Jones was like, okay, if you got your stuff together, if you cleaned up your act, if you stayed in the gym, you stayed, on the right-ish path, you could still do well because you still have a lot of good years ahead of you. BJ Penn's been done for 10 years.
Look,
and he's even in his prime. He never was a guy that went to the gym a lot. Like he was known as a guy that did it on pure talent. So, BJ, like his good days, his decent days are far behind him. Like BJ
Way
Penn is
gone.
not.
look.
And right now, this fight with Nick Lentz doesn't actually have a card. Like, it was rumored to be September 7th, but it never got signed. It's not going to be at UFC 242. Now it's possible for UFC 244 in November at Madison Square Garden, but even that's not official. So BJ Penn and Nick Lentz were supposed to fight, but they still haven't figured out when and where.
Look.
And now I don't think it's going to happen. Like, come on. I know AJ thinks BJ Penn's going to be the next world champion. He wants BJ and Khabib.
whoa.
He thinks if BJ
Hold
gets
les cheval,
his game
Dave.
together,
Hold
he
those
can
horses.
come back and beat everybody.
Look. I'm not saying.
It sounds like that's what you're saying.
Listen, what I'm saying is that, look, we don't know the full facts, and the facts that I got was he was being harassed. So BJ did what he had to do. Correcto, Davo?
Davo.
Listen to this. If he had to defend himself, then BJ did it right in what he did. What I'm saying is that BJ, yes, he's been off the track.
But he's
a little
always in stupid stories. Can we just say like, look,
Listen,
I have that.
I agree
look,
with that.
Look, maybe one day you'll have these discussions. We'll see. But I have these discussions with my son where I tell him like, if you're always in stupid stories, sometimes maybe like you gotta look at what you're doing, So
Oh, for
BJ
sure.
Penn, you're always in stupid stories. It can't always be somebody else's fault.
And that's
always.
what I was trying to get at, Fred. This is why I'm saying is that he needs to probably leave Hawaii, get himself to ATT or some other gym.
What's the point?
He needs to stay off white powdery substance and things like that, probably.
How?
Allegedly.
Maybe he needs rehab.
Maybe he needs rehab. Maybe he needs to listen to Anthony Robbins. I don't know. But what it comes down to is this. Now, he needs to get into a proper gym again.
Bellies.
Let's talk about another guy that you love to defend, who you think should be the next title challenger. Conor McGregor, the guy who, always getting into trouble, always hearing stories about him. There were rumors that he impregnated some lady, and she was saying that the son that she had was Conor's, and he wasn't taking responsibility. We never really heard the end of that story. If it's anything, there was a sexual assault story that Dana claims he talked to Conor, and Dana White says, "Oh, Conor told me it wasn't him," and apparently that's good enough for Conor or for Dana rather. And we still don't know what the end of that story is. Now there's the story of Conor McGregor, more than a story really, because there's a video of Conor punching a guy in that pub in Ireland, even though AJ on the show last week told you that, it's not Conor because he doesn't have the same tattoos. Well, Conor admitted that it was him, and Conor's, saying, I've done so much, and I'm so sorry, and I wasn't focused on the fight. I was too busy throwing dollies through bus windows and, smashing cell phones. Like, you start to add up all the things that Conor McGregor has done, and then you add it with the stuff he's been accused of doing. It's a lot of stuff.
It makes me go.
It's a lot of bad stuff, man.
It is, man. But let's think about the history of Freddie. Go.
Well, it makes me go back to my point I've been making for a couple of weeks. I think Conor's career is it's towards the end. I think he has one more big money fight where he's going to make a lot of money, and then he's probably going to lose, and he's going to go again on a hiatus for a good amount of time, and maybe we'll see him fight again later on. But he doesn't give me the impression of a guy that's going to be competing for a title anytime soon. I'm sorry.
He seems like he wants to fight Khabib.
Because that's the money. That's the money. It's not about the title, though. Don't tell me it's about the title. It's about the money. Because if it was
hang on,
everybody,
is it about the money though?
For Conor, he doesn't need the money.
Because
Dave.
In my estimation, Conor McGregor is the A side of the fight. Khabib may have beat him, but Conor's still the star. Do you think Conor McGregor would be fighting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on pay-per-view on a Saturday?
Never.
Do you think the UFC would ever do that?
Never.
I don't think they would do that with current Conor McGregor. And Khabib Nurmagomedov will be fighting next Saturday afternoon against Dustin Poirier at UFC 242 in Abu Dhabi. It's an afternoon fight. It starts at 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, but Dave, he's going into a country where a whole country is behind him. It's a different story.
So what?
Khabib
Nurmagomedov is one of the biggest stars in the sport right now.
Right.
He just beat the golden boy Conor McGregor. He's the first guy to do it. And his next fight is on pay-per-view in the afternoon. That tells me Khabib isn't worth it. Khabib doesn't really matter. He's not. That pay-per-view is not going to sell.
I think this is a huge fight for
Conor
Khabib.
McGregor is money, whether he fights Khabib or Frankie Edgar, which he was talking about, which is weird, but whatever. Or Jose Aldo or Dustin Poirier or Tony Ferguson or Nate Diaz or whoever. Conor McGregor makes a ton of money, whether he fights Khabib or not.
Who fought in the previous?
Khabib doesn't make it worth more, other than the fact that Khabib beat him and Conor wants to avenge that loss. But I don't.
How many times did they go to Abu Dhabi? Because I only have another.
Never.
Once.
Exactly. And who was in the main event in that card?
Frankie and BJ.
No, it was Anderson Silva. Was it too bad?
Anderson and Damian Maia.
Yeah, Anderson Silva wasn't big enough of a star. Anderson Silva still did it. So if Anderson Silva could do it, Khabib could do it. And I mean, look, the world is round. We've talked about that in the past. Time zones, for some people, man, that's where the time zone is. They're not gonna give.
But it's not only about the time zone, Fred. It's about he's really going there because he has a strong brotherhood of support.
Yeah, exactly.
That wants
With a Muslim
to see,
population.
That wants to see like the
Exactly.
champion. He's the champion of like the Muslim world. Abu Dhabi, who's one of the greatest sponsors of BJJ in the world.
So Khabib
they wanna
can
see
make
Khabib.
it work.
Khabib is going to make it work, and it's only fair for them to see a champion like Khabib coming and possibly winning this fight. I think it's a great honor for him, in my opinion. But that's
Sure.
You know, it has
And
nothing
I
to do with
always-
money.
But for the North American audience, for the worldwide audience that's going to be buying this pay-per-view, watching Khabib Nurmagomedov against Dustin Poirier in the afternoon,
Dave,
I don't think is going to sell over 1 million pay-per-views.
Listen,
you guys think it's going to do
yes,
well?
absolutely. I think with my friends that are Muslim are just looking forward to this fight. They want to see Khabib fight. Most of the world wants to see Khabib fight, and I can tell you this.
Look, it's not
going
to do
some
1
strong
million.
Support.
It won't do 1 million because Khabib doesn't do 1 million with anybody other than Conor. Okay, that's my
It'll
opinion.
be close to 1 million. I'll be honest.
No,
We
If
were
not.
both right, by the way, Fred, with the Abu Dhabi the last time they went. Anderson Silva, Damian Maia was the main event. Frankie Edgar, BJ Penn was the co-main event.
Yeah, I remember. I
Matt
remember
Hughes,
those
Henzo
fights.
Gracie
Yep.
was on that.
But-
Rafael Dos Anjos, Terry Etim, and Mark Munoz, Kendall Grove.
And you see a
that
lot of
was
big
a great
names.
card.
A lot of big names, and I'm pretty sure that was an afternoon card also because
Yeah.
you see when they go to Australia and they make that card at like 7 a.m. local time over there, I'm like, poor people. Like, I'm happy because it's a good time for me, but if I was in Australia, I got to get up like at 6 a.m. so I can make it to the arena at 7 to watch some MMA.
Yeah,
It's annoying.
well, it just goes to show you the support out there. I mean,
I'm just a bit surprised that, you beat Conor McGregor and your very next fight's in the afternoon.
yeah, but like Fred said, it's in Abu Dhabi. So the thing is that, and again, like I said, the support
I
is
think
there for him.
Khabib makes it work in Abu Dhabi because of his Muslim roots. So, no,
Yeah,
to me it
work,
makes sense.
He makes it work in Abu Dhabi, but we're not. Who cares?
But listen,
Who cares if it works
listen,
in Abu Dhabi?
if Khabib-
it's not about the gate, the live attendance. It's about the worldwide pay-per-view. And worldwide pay-per-view, it's not working.
I don't know, man. We'll see
Who
the
is?
results.
Who is?
Well, maybe if you put Khabib in a big fight in Las Vegas, like Khabib and Tony Ferguson, that might work a little bit better. I'm surprised that the first fight you give Khabib right after beating Conor McGregor is in Abu Dhabi against Dustin Poirier in the afternoon. You know?
I think it's a
not
legit
saying
fight.
Dustin Poirier isn't the deserving guy, the number one contender, kind of at this point.
Well,
Tony Ferguson's out there too, right?
right.
And I think many would argue he's more deserving, but it was a scheduling thing that didn't work out for this
Circumstances
fight,
as well.
right? But Poirier isn't a mega star in MMA, right? Like, this isn't as big of an opponent for Khabib as Conor McGregor. Like, if Khabib were fighting Nate Diaz, I think it'd be a bigger fight. Right?
You're right.
Nate isn't the number one contender, but more people would be interested in that fight.
But who's the more dangerous fighter that's going to be fighting Khabib right now? It's Dustin Poirier, the most underrated
Sure.
fighter out there.
Well-
one of this guy is a guy who, like I keep saying, he's worked his way up. He deserves that fight.
You think he
Sometimes
beats Khabib, though?
Listen, if
you
anybody
think
could
he
beat
beats
Khabib,
Khabib, though?
if anybody could beat Khabib, this is one guy. This guy, you can't underestimate Poirier.
Answer me.
I don't think he's going to beat Khabib, but
But also, I think
he has heavy hands for his weight class.
I think we got to go back in time at when this fight was announced. Let's remember that Tony Ferguson was having personal issues.
True.
Let's remember that Khabib wasn't fighting like for a while because of Ramadan and different issues. Suspensions, exactly. So,
Because the last time he fought,
yeah.
he jumped outside the cage and attacked everybody.
So I'll give you like the Tony Ferguson, but I mean, it's hard to, like, if you go back in time, Tony Ferguson was having his issues. As for, like, yeah, Conor McGregor would be a bigger fight, but I don't want to see Conor. Like, I much rather, as far as an MMA purist that I am, I want to see Khabib Poirier more than Khabib Conor. In both cases, I'm picking Khabib, but I mean, Khabib Conor, I don't need to see that again.
I don't need to see Khabib Conor either.
No,
I
I'd
don't
like
think
to see
that's a
him.
good idea
I think
for
everybody
Conor.
else does want to see him.
I think Conor can go around and fight some other guys and make money and win. rather than fight Khabib.
Conor should prepare a fight for the winner of Masvidal and Diaz. Like he should be selling that right away. Like going, no, this is not a fight for the baddest MFer whatever. This is a fight to fight me. That's what Conor should be going on the mic, going, yo, you guys don't be inventing no title. You're fighting right now for the right to fight Conor McGregor. That's right. What you're doing.
It's the McGregor belt.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And you fight McGregor for it, and, you know, Khabib may have it, but it doesn't really matter because Conor's still Conor. And
that's the power of Conor, and that's why you guys want to see...
That's the thing, man. The sport has totally changed. Like, there are fights at 170 that you'd rather see than the title fight, right?
Yeah.
Like, say, Masvidal and Nate Diaz. I think it was Michael Bisping was saying that he'd rather see Masvidal and Diaz over Usman and Covington.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
I think most people would, because most people are more interested in those people, right? It's like being the champion these days doesn't mean you're the most important person on the roster. Being the champion doesn't mean you're the guy that everybody necessarily wants to fight.
But
so Conor McGregor, I think he's in a good place where everybody still wants to fight him. Why risk fighting Khabib and then being in this weird spot where you've lost to Khabib twice now and you're not a champion anymore? Like, why not go after Masvidal or Diaz or somebody that will stand with you and trade where you can work your best skill? Yeah. Khabib will take him down forever. Conor will never be able to defend the takedown. Conor will never be able to be a better grappler than Khabib. Conor will never have a good enough guard to deal with Khabib on top of him. It will never happen. So why? You know, why do that? Why not fight a guy like Nate Diaz who will stand and box with you? Why not fight George Masvidal who will stand and trade with you? Why not fight Donald Cerrone who will stand and trade with you? Why not fight Frankie Edgar, who may try to wrestle you, but he's too small to do it, and you will knock out easily, and you'll make a ton of money, and people will like that because people know Frankie Edgar. Like, there are better options. Better options.
Stop. Knock out easily? Are we talking about the Conor McGregor that struggled to knock out an old man right now? Come on, man.
No, I'm talking about the Conor McGregor that knocked out Eddie Alvarez. If he can do it to Eddie and Jose and all the guys he did it to before, I think he can do it to Frankie too.
And look, and you know what? Let's be honest.
You do too, Fred.
No, I'm picking Frankie.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't believe in Conor no more.
You know what? Conor believes in Conor, and that's the difference. And I disagree with both of you guys because what it comes down to is this, is that if McGregor beats Poirier, okay, which I'm pretty sure he will, we're going to start hearing once again the fight that will take place.
Whoa,
exactly.
If McGregor beats Poirier?
What did I say? McGregor?
You said...
Khabib. Sorry, I made a mistake. Did I say that? Yeah. Rewind the tape. I want to hear that.
I mean...
But listen, if Khabib beats Poirier, McGregor will be back in the talks, and that will be the fight that's going to happen probably before Ferguson, because Conor deserves to fight the champ.
Conor should hope that Poirier wins.
Why? Because the money's with Khabib. Everybody wants to see that soap opera. There was a whole story built on Khabib and McGregor, and that will be the fight that is...
It's an old story
that
not
I've seen
play out.
No, you didn't. You saw it once.
We saw it. We know what happens in the end.
Yeah.
If it plays out again, we're going to have the same outcome. I'm not interested.
Let me give him an 80s reference. It's Drago versus Apollo Creed, but there's no Rocky. Drago wins. That's how it ends. Russian guy beats McGregor, and that's how it ends. I mean, there's no...
You know what? I have faith in the Rocky fights. All of them.
They're all movies, AJ. They're not
all
real.
Movies. And what's real is this, is that McGregor, if Khabib is still the champ, there will be a second fight. It's going to happen.
You know
Dana White knows it's going to happen.
You know what, AJ? You're probably right.
Because
it would make the most money.
Exactly.
But it's ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous?
It should be Tony Ferguson.
Everybody knows Tony Ferguson should be the next in line. But the truth of the matter is this, is that if Conor fights anybody else and loses, that the power is starting to diminish. His value is starting to diminish. But Conor comes and beats Khabib. He's back at the top again.
Well, I mean, if he loses to Khabib...
You think he can beat Khabib?
Look, he's going to have a different strategy against Khabib over the first fight. Again, we're talking about like the takedowns in the first round.
Question?
He did all right by stuffing those.
Do you think he can beat Khabib?
I think he'll play a different fight, and it's possible that he could beat Khabib.
I'll say, to give weight to AJ's argument, is that if Conor loses to Khabib, he still has a big fight left with Nate after that.
Exactly.
Whereas if he loses to Nate, he's not getting a title shot against Khabib after. I mean, if Conor loses to anybody, he's not getting a title shot after that.
Exactly, Freddie.
So he might as well go for the title shot right away.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that Nate Diaz would be interested in fighting Conor if he loses to Khabib twice in a row. And
that's money.
Nate goes on and beats George Masvidal. He wins twice in a row.
Nate don't want Khabib.
Does that fight even make sense? Well,
money-wise, yeah.
Nate's fighting at 170 pounds, so Nate and Khabib are no longer in the same division.
I'm just saying Nate would fight Conor because that's the money fight for Nate. That's how Nate makes money and doesn't have to fight for another 3 years.
It is just... It's kind of a mess what's going on with the UFC in the lightweight division. I think no matter what...
I think it's great.
Here's what I think should happen. If Khabib wins, I want to see him fight Tony Ferguson. If Dustin Poirier wins, give him Conor.
No. I agree that should be a fight.
I think is a more winnable fight for Conor than Khabib is. It's, styles make fights.
Right.
And stylistically, I mean,
Conor defeated Poirier,
exactly.
So there would be a storyline right
Conor's
there.
already beat him. I think it makes a lot of sense. If Dustin Poirier manages to beat Khabib, you do Poirier and Conor McGregor. That's the fight to make. If Khabib wins, do Khabib Tony Ferguson, and you do Conor McGregor somebody else. And I wouldn't even do Nate Diaz because that fight I think is always there. I would honestly go for like a tune-up fight for McGregor against a Frankie Edgar, against a Donald Cerrone.
Anthony Pettis. Give him Anthony Pettis.
I don't know, something like that. Somebody who's entertaining, usually to watch, who will stand and trade with Conor, who you think Conor could probably beat. I
think Pettis is that's a good call there. That would be an exciting fight, or really that should have been the warm-up fight for Conor when he came back after 3 years before Khabib. That was the biggest problem. Khabib, I should say McGregor, went right at Khabib, and this was the wrong approach. I think if he would have fought Pettis, that would have been the best. That would have been the best warm-up, and we would be talking about Conor in a different light right now.
Well, didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
We're going to move on. We got to take a short pause here on the radio side. We got to preview UFC in China coming up on Saturday. We'll also tell you who we think Henry Cejudo will be fighting next for the UFC flyweight title. And UFC 244 has a bunch of big fights stacking up for November at Madison Square Garden. We'll tell you about those when we come back. It is Ringside Report. Stay with us. We're on commercial break, boys.
Stop it, Johnny.
Johnny?
What's Johnny talking about?
Not even sure, but he says AJ's right, so
what?
I don't want to.
Johnny, you're
always right.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's the way you do it, Johnny.
How much did AJ pay you, Johnny?
Yeah.
It's all about love, guys. Johnny.
We're really going after these jelly bellies we got going on.
They're like, man, I've never seen jelly beans go down so fast.
We're all just like eating jelly beans.
One jelly bean down. What's Johnny? Where is Johnny? Johnny, you're at home? Or you're listening from PJ's? Oh, by the way, Johnny, we need to go to PJ's because Dave is not having his barbecue on the 7th. It's canceled because Freddie's back in Trois-Rivières.
You coming here for All Out, AJ?
All Out?
Saturday.
No, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I'm going to be busy.
We're going to be live here on the YouTube channel for All Out, right after All Out.
Let it all hang out, buddy.
Me and Big Johnny.
Ooh,
Coffee Jelly Belly is incredible.
Where's Johnny? Where's Johnny hanging out? Who's that?
There.
Roderick? Who's that?
What's up, Roderick?
Roderick, what's up, buddy? I like that name, Roderick. It makes a good wrestling name. Who else is there? Who's that?
What?
Chevy? Who's that? Chevy? I can't see. I don't have my reading glasses.
New fans.
Chevy says you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, he's probably right. But
Definitely right.
he don't know what he's talking about. Hey, Chevy, that's why I like Fords.
What?
What the fuck, Rocky?
Roderick says he's from Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit in the house.
Motor City.
That's right, man. Scotty Bowman. You remember Scotty Bowman?
My buddy lives out there. Teaches at the University of Michigan.
Maybe it's time to ask him the M&M questions then.
Should we do that now? We got a new segment on the show called 5 Questions with AJ, where we're going to ask AJ some real basic-ass trivia, and we have to see what his answers are, because he won't know shit.
What? Why you don't have any confidence in me?
Huh?
Huh? Say what?
Huh?
Shoot one question away, man.
Because we started asking you some questions before, and you didn't know nothing.
Yes, I did. I got one right. I got the Hogan question right. Can you please repeat the question, Dave, so the audience could hear? I'll pretend like I don't even know it yet, and I'll reenact exactly the way I did it. Go ahead.
No.
Come on, Dave, do it.
That was too easy.
Just ask the question so people know what it's all about. It's a trivia.
We gotta go back to the show.
No, say the question, bud.
Who did Hulk Hogan slam at WrestleMania 3?
You're asking me, Dave? What kind of question is that? That's exactly what I said. Didn't I say that? I'm like, everybody knows that.
And?
It's Hogan, man.
Okay. Hogan slammed Hogan?
I didn't say Hogan slammed Hogan. He slammed Andre the Giant.
What's Bret Hart's brother's name?
Little Hart. What else?
You know Bret Hart's brother that died in the
yeah,
ring?
he died. I know the whole
What's
thing.
his name?
That is Owen Hart.
Fuck.
AJ don't know. Come on, man. That was
What,
the king of Trivial Pursuit. Johnny knows. We hang out at PJ's. People ask us questions all the time like this.
The
Go
best
ahead,
one
Dave.
before was what's Eminem's real name? The rapper Eminem. You know him, right?
I do know Eminem.
What's his real name?
The best products in the freezer. I did say it before, and I said it was Winkle. Was it something like Winkle John or something like that? Or Henry Van Winkle or something like that? What the hell's his name? Is it Winkle John? Is it not? Freddie, help me out.
Winkle John.
M.
Eminem.
M&M.
Oh, I know it. I got
John.
it. Winkle John. Wait, I got it. It's something with Matt. Matthias. Mama. Mim. Motherfucker.
U.S. Marshal.
Marshall. There we go. I knew it was some weird ass name. Marshall Winklejohn. Is it? But I got the Winklejohn right. Yes. Damn it. I knew I was right on something there. Who would get Winklejohn? I got the Winklejohn right. Marshall?
Who would say Winklejohn? I don't know. Only AJ, I guess.
Is it Winklejohn? It's not
No.
Winklejohn? Damn it. Here I am celebrating for no reason. It's like Conor celebrating.
Marshall Winklejohn.
Isn't it his name?
What's Eminem's real name? Marshall Winklejohn.
Is it?
No.
Damn it. John, help me out.
It doesn't matter.
All the wrestlers out in wherever, just help me out. M. Oh, I think I know it. Matters.
What?
Is it right?
What do you say?
Marshall Matters.
Matters?
Matter or matters? It don't matter. It's something about matter.
The Marshall Matters LP. That was a good one. I like that one.
Is it?
Yeah, of
Guys,
course.
is it matters?
Yeah, you got it.
Damn, am I good? Easy. What's John saying? Easy questions. Oh, did you hear about the Red Bull thing, by the way? So what happened was that some schmuck.
Shouldn't we go back to the show, AJ?
Yeah,
Let's go
but
back to
no. Hear me out on this. I want to hear.
bullshit.
Listen, this is very important. You want me to say it on radio? This?
No.
Come on, it sounds good. So what happened is that some schmuck in the States, he decided to sue Red Bull because apparently Red Bull didn't give him wings. All right? So now some Canadian schmuck here decided that he was going to do the same thing. So what happened right now is that Red Bull, as of today, I think, there's some...
Disclaimer.
Yeah, no, there's a settlement going on. And if you drank Red Bull between 2007 and 2019...
Oh, that's
You're
why you
eligible-
get a free Red Bull.
No, you don't get free Red Bull. In fact, it's a $850,000 settlement. you need to go to some like drink whatever site.
But you end up getting like 2 free Red Bulls.
No,
or
you get like
something.
$10. They're gonna give you $10 for everybody who decides they didn't get wings. So if you didn't get your wings, go and sue Red Bull.
Have you ever drank Red Bull?
I used to drink Red Bull back in the days when it used to be in a little capsule. It used to be this big.
Are you gonna get your $10?
I got my wings, man. I'm not gonna sue nobody.
Oh, you got wings.
Red Bull gave me wings.
I never had Red Bull. I don't like those drinks.
They're good for you, Dave.
I don't like them. All right, let's go back to the show, okay?
That would have been a good thing to say on air.
No.
But anyways.
That was a terrible story.
What are you talking about? You can sue. If you want $10, sue them.
All right, let's go back here.
Ready?
And welcome back. It is Ringside Report. I am Dave Simon. He is Fred Garcia. AJ DeLesio is also here. AJ's
here. If you want to hear what was happening to AJ, like listen to the YouTube show so you can hear like all the questions that AJ got right.
Yeah, if you want to see more of this show, you can watch us on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Subscribe to the channel. Click that little notification bell so you get notified every time there's new content on the channel. youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Go to ringsidereport.net, our website, for more info on the show and all the shows on the Ringside Report Network.
So many.
Including the pro wrestling show that we focus on WWE, Wrestling Uncensored. My main man, Johnny North, on that show. Excellent stuff from Big Johnny. You can watch Dave and Johnny live, where Johnny and I talk about all sorts of things pro wrestling. On this week's episode of Dave and Johnny Live, we discuss
what?
Or we preview
another book.
All Out.
Okay.
From All Elite Wrestling. AEW's All Out pay-per-view coming up on Saturday night. That will be previewed on the new episode of Dave and Johnny Live every Friday afternoon at about 12:30. Johnny and I go live and talk about pro wrestling, and sometimes we do book reviews.
That's the part I like.
Sometimes we do movie reviews. Sometimes
pretty good.
Johnny North talks about his own pro wrestling life. It's a big show, Dave and Johnny Live. There's a lot of stuff that happens on it, and you can watch it on the YouTube channel. So go to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy it.
Last week's episode was pretty good. I disagree.
You liked the book review.
I liked the book review. I liked, like, me and Johnny hanging about that whole story. Some things I wasn't too crazy about, but hey.
Like what?
Well, you know what?
Did I say stuff?
You always say stuff, Dave.
What?
Freddie is
I
like
thought
totally
Johnny was the one saying stuff. What did
Johnny say? Did I miss something?
What did I say that offended you on Dave and Johnny Live?
There's so many things I can't remember right now. I'll have to
give me one.
I'll have to get the transcript.
Just say it.
Just say it. It's okay.
Didn't. It's okay. I really can't remember. Oh, was it the fact that we shouldn't be like reviewing wrestling?
What do you mean?
What was it what was the topic about? It was something. I don't know.
I don't know. You're the one who's saying I said some bad things about you, but you can't say.
No, you didn't say bad things.
Oh.
I think it was more like discouraging things. But anyways.
Discouraging? I think you and Johnny are great together. I think you make a great team.
Yeah, so if PJ's Pub is listening, they need to sponsor us.
You guys should have a show in this studio, though.
Me and Johnny?
Yeah, because then, your audio and video quality would be top-notch instead of, your dark cell phone videos that you do in kind of dark bars.
Yeah, but then we can't meet the people that we meet. We get all kinds of crazy fans that come up to us, and there's all kinds of... You won't believe the amount of stuff that happens to us.
Me. That's what we talked about.
I do.
You impersonating me.
Yes. Yeah. And giving autographs as Dave Simon. So if you're watching the show, I'm Dave Simon.
Of him taking offense of that?
Yeah, man. I'm like doing a favor for Dave by signing out autographs. Hi, I'm Dave Simon, a.k.a. AJ. But
so you're mad that I'm mad that you steal my identity.
Yeah, that's not cool, Dave.
Well, it's not cool for you to steal my identity.
That's not cool for you to say that. Johnny would probably agree with me. Johnny was playing Freddy, by the way. Okay. That was funny.
We got more MMA to get to. Let's get back to business here. Henry Cejudo looks like he's going to be fighting Joseph Benavidez next for the UFC flyweight title.
What happened to his fighting the women in every division kind of thing?
We were going to talk about that last week. We kind of forgot about it because it was silly. Well, Henry Cejudo was talking about Valentina Shevchenko and said he wanted to fight her. to determine the true 125-pound champion, the first ever intergender champion. But that was, of course, ridiculous. I don't think either of them were really serious about it.
What if it did happen?
But people were taking them seriously, and they were like, Henry Cejudo is wrong for wanting to do this. How dare he? And I'm like, I think he's joking. But Henry Cejudo is just so terrible at joking.
No, I think he's playing the role because, like, he knows.
Is he trying to be a heel?
Like, right now, it's a gimmick, I think.
I don't
know.
think.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it is a gimmick, Fred. But I don't think it's a gimmick where he knows that he's the bad guy. Like, I think Henry Cejudo thinks this is gonna get him more fans, but it really.
I'm becoming a fan.
Are you?
I find him just weird and like cringy. I see Henry Cejudo and I'm like, oh man, leave the comedy to people that are funny, because the stuff you're doing is just bizarre. Like, he's just coming off as a weirdo. Great athlete, great fighter, maybe the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. Henry Cejudo is super awesome, but he's a weird dude, okay?
I think he's embracing the gimmick right now.
You know what I am going to embrace is this. Like, I like to do a call out, and I've seen it, and I know that we've talked about this back in the show in the past with one of our guests that we had.
Oh, you're going to go
and
back
I'm gonna
to
go
the
right
Yoni
back.
thing?
Yoni Shurbatov tossed around Cejudo like it was like an old newspaper. So if Cejudo wants to talk trash, why don't you talk trash against Yoni Shurbatov from Montreal? And I can tell you, I saw that video. We didn't put it out online.
With this, man?
It comes down to he likes to talk trash.
Man.
But I saw him getting trashed around by Yoni Shurbatov.
Okay, but he's going to have to fight the guy who's the number one contender in the UFC flyweight division. That's Joseph Benavidez. So
you know what?
He's got his hands full.
And isn't Yoni like injured and off the shell? And I mean,
he's
why
injured.
Are you bringing that right now,
but
man?
you know
It's
what?
not
Like,
the
that's
time.
the thing is sometimes I wonder what's up with these guys. They like the trash talk, but really,
Fanboy
they got
AJ
trashed.
once again trying to bring up his people.
Exactly.
Yoni Shurbatov.
Benavidez, Cejudo. That's a great fight. I'm happy that it's going to happen again. They fought once before. Benavidez won, so, hey, it makes sense. I like to see that because I think, like, Faber's not fighting for a while. Faber was the other option at 135. Right now, I'm happy that it's Cejudo, Benavidez. Either way, those are great fights for Cejudo, and that's what he should put his mind on. I think the whole Valentina call out is just him trying to get publicity out of that, and she's embracing it also.
It did kind of work. They got a little bit of publicity out of it, but
what if it really did happen?
It would not.
Why?
What if it did?
Henry Cejudo would win.
Remember when people were saying, what if Ronda faced Floyd Mayweather? What do you think?
In boxing? Like, come on.
Even in MMA.
Well,
Freddie, that's a different
please,
story.
come on.
I think Floyd would have a hard time.
There's something to be
Come
said.
on, she got knocked out by Amanda Nunes. You're gonna tell me like Floyd cannot learn some takedown defense and how to stay away from Ronda and things like that?
We're talking about
man.
an Olympic level judoka.
Yeah,
which got killed by Amanda Nunes.
Who broke many arms.
Smashed Floyd Mayweather in an MMA fight too.
Dave,
You don't
I'm convinced of that.
I'm pretty convinced.
I'm pretty convinced.
In an MMA fight.
It's going to be a bad day for
What about
Floyd.
grappling technique, Fred? You're a jiu-jitsu guy. What are you talking about?
What about physical strength, man? Conor.
I think Ronda has
Floyd's
some
a
pretty
man.
serious
To go back to the discussion
Okay,
of.
let's not even talk about these fights because they will never happen. And
Yeah, exactly. Because the visual of a man hitting a woman would be also
awful.
like. Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about? Gabby Garcia used to do it back in Brazil all the time.
Yeah, you think ESPN's gonna lead off their shows with showing a man knocking out a woman? Come on, man.
That's not something anybody needs to see.
I don't think it'll happen in the UFC, but I can see it happening in something like bare knuckles fighting or something of that level. It will happen at some point.
Listen,
I'm pretty sure.
After Greg Hardy loses a couple fights in the UFC, that's what he's gonna do next.
Fighting Gabby Garcia?
Yeah.
I like to see that. Good luck
see
to
her
him.
smash him.
she'll
That'd be
smash
awesome.
him. Gabby Garcia.
I'd pay to see that. Now that's the fight I want to see.
There you go. You heard it on Ringside Report.
No, I'm kidding. I don't want to see that. That's stupid. So let's see. Speaking of crazy, how about Anthony Rumble Johnson? He plans to return to the UFC heavyweight division in 2020. So he fought at welterweight. He fought at light heavyweight. So he fought at 170 at one point in the UFC. Then he came back, did very well at 205 pounds, challenged for the title, lost to DC. Still one of the most dangerous, scary guys at 205. And now apparently he's going to go up to heavyweight and fight there. That's his plan anyways, to get a fight in the UFC heavyweight division, which I think is cool because I don't know if you guys have seen a picture of Anthony Johnson recently, but
he's jacked.
He's
jacked.
He looks like he's 300 pounds. He looks like
he has no neck.
He looks like Conan the Barbarian. That's
he looks
what he
like
looks
Busta Rhymes. By the way, have you seen Busta Rhymes recently?
No.
He looks like Anthony Johnson.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's telling you, it's crazy. Busta is jacked.
Busta Rhymes? Wow.
Yeah, but
like
you see,
Pee Wee Herman is looking like McGregor.
Like Anthony Johnson. Weren't we talking with BJ Penn about stupid stories? Doesn't Anthony Johnson also have like a couple of stories that follow him about
Busta Rhymes looks amazing.
Busta Rhymes is super jacked.
Busta Rhymes.
Like you're talking about Anthony
good.
Johnson, and he's had his own personal issues outside of the cage. So I don't know. Like if he comes back, of course I'll watch him. But
how old is he right now?
I'm not sure why
Johnson?
the UFC would need to sign him back.
36, 37?
Why wouldn't the UFC want to sign him back? The guy was
I'd love to see him back.
Super effective. He is ridiculously jacked. We're just looking at different pictures of Anthony Johnson and how jacked he is.
He looks great.
It's crazy.
I mean, his natural weight is around 2-something mark, right? I'm sure he walks around at 225, 235.
Apparently he's 285 pounds right now. He's only 35, and he was one of the most effective light heavyweights in the game. You put on an extra, 50 pounds of muscle. Who knows what else you're doing?
I mean,
let's put Anthony Johnson back in the UFC heavyweight division and spice things up. Give me Anthony Johnson, Francis Ngannou. Give me Anthony Johnson, Derek Lewis. Give me Anthony Johnson and Stipe if he can get past Ngannou and Derek Lewis. Like, let's go.
I'm just saying.
I'm all for that.
Look, I'm just saying he was arrested May 7th of this year for domestic violence. So if you're going to be like, Greg Hardy, we don't need to see you. Well, I mean, let's be consistent and say, like, do we really need to see Anthony Johnson? Is he really a player in this division still? Come on.
Well, if you read the story of what Anthony Johnson was accused of doing and then what Greg Hardy was accused of doing, it's two different things.
I mean, it's not his first time
Anthony Johnson
also
is accused of picking up a lady and moving her from one room to another.
Say what? Like
I guess it was against her will.
Oh, that's not good.
I mean, it's not good. You shouldn't do that. But like, he didn't punch anybody in the face. He picked somebody up and moved them to a different
Greg
room.
Hardy threw his girlfriend on a bed. I mean,
but what did he do after?
He threw her on a bed.
That was it?
That was full of guns.
Ooh, that must hurt.
A bed full of guns?
That's gotta be.
That is a strange move.
I'm just saying both are like a-holes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out and say it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Anthony Johnson. There have been a lot of stories about him. He seems a little sketchy.
He does?
But he's fun to watch people, Well, how about this then? Let them fight each other.
Hardy?
Anthony Johnson, Greg Hardy. Let's do it.
That would be a good fight.
Let them fight each other. Loser leaves town. Like the loser, banished from the UFC forever. The winner gets to stay and fight Ngannou or something,
Yeah, that's a good idea,
Like
Dave.
the winner is still punished because they have to fight Ngannou. The loser kicked out of the UFC forever. Anthony Johnson, Greg Hardy.
I love
Book it.
That's a good one, Dave. Good one.
Come on, man. Let's make the UFC fun again.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the fun UFC?
Let's make the UFC great again.
I'm looking at a bunch of boring fights that I have to wake up for at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning in China. I don't want to wake up for this card. No one wants to wake up for this card, man.
Keep going, Dave. Say it.
Jessica Andrade, okay? Mm-hmm. Jessica Andrade is a strawweight champion. Mm-hmm. Before her, the champion was Rose Namajunas. Super marketable, super awesome. Before her, the champion was Joanna Jędrzejczyk, one of the most marketable stars the UFC has made in the past 5 or 6 years, right? Super awesome. Everybody loves Joanna. And now Jessica's first title defense is in China at 6 a.m.
You go, Dave. Keep going.
And like,
tell us what you really feel about.
Who's she fighting? Who is Weili Zhang? No disrespect to her. I'm sure she's a very good fighter. But she's fought 3 times in the UFC.
Yeah, she has 20 from
her last fight
career
was
fights
against Tisha Torres.
She's 19-1. I mean, she has a respectable career so far in MMA.
Yeah, no, she's 19-1. She's got a good record, but like, she's only getting this shot because the UFC is doing a show in China.
And it's her hometown. So, like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
They need to
sure.
listen. The thing
So
that
I
most
think
people
you're-
don't realize is, sorry, Freddie, is that in China right now, the UFC has invested over $7 million to develop this performance center for the UFC. So they've invested money because they know that the Asian market is growing and the UFC wants to be a part of it. So when you put a $7 million project, they need to start building heroes like we did here in North America with George St-Pierre, like we did in the United States with the former, with BJ Penn back in his glory days. China needs a hero. Jia Lang Ling, whatever his name is not the guy. They thought he might have been, but he is not the guy. So
He's in the co-main event.
he's in the co-main event, but I don't think he has much of a chance.
I'm just gonna say a little bit similar to the Abu Dhabi discussion. Like the UFC right now is international, so they're gonna have cards in all these countries at different times. And if you ask my opinion, I mean, give them Jessica Andrade and whatever Zhang as a main event. Like I could go without seeing that fight. I'd rather you give them that fight than a big fight that I want to see and I won't get up for it. Like so.
Yeah.
Like,
Good point, Freddie.
I mean,
good point. That's a good point. That's thumbs up.
Sure.
Fred's right again because
Fred
Johnny
is right
just told
again.
me I was right. So
John,
I'm right again.
John is right. You're right.
I just whatever. I'm not that interested in the card. If it were on at a better time, I'd probably watch it, but it's on at 6 a.m. I just wonder how many UFC fans are actually going to see these fights.
But this is not about
it's for China.
Yeah, exactly.
China,
It's about
exactly.
growing the product, you know? It's
Exactly.
like when the NBA or whatever, they go like to London and they're playing their backups because it's the
Okay.
Blue Jays coming
Well,
to
then,
Montreal, you know? They're
if
not
it's-
playing all their
If
stars.
it's not for us, what do we care? Should we even preview this card? I don't
Sure,
care.
no, absolutely.
No, I don't
and
really
Fred,
care.
And Fred's
I don't
got a
give a
point
shit.
there. No, but we should give a shit because the truth. Did I say that? Sorry, it's over the 10-minute mark. It don't
okay.
matter anyways.
It's okay, Jay.
But the thing, what it comes down to is, we gotta care. Why? Because the UFC is investing in countries where there's amazing fighters there, and we gotta know who they are. It's not only about like the US and North America. The UFC, other than like maybe Formula One, that goes around the world where there are local heroes. Like in Brazil, they had Ayrton Senna in the days. We had
What are you talking
We had
about?
Gilles Villeneuve over here in
what
Canada.
are you talking about?
What I'm saying is that you need heroes in every country. China needs their hero; they're gonna get it.
Are
Abu
they?
Dhabi, for
Because
sure.
I got Andrade by TKO.
Absolutely. I don't think, but you'll never know. We don't know who this girl really is.
Like, I don't think there's any Chinese MMA hero right now. There might be in the future, but
And
right now
that's-
there's
and-
no Chinese MMA hero.
and that's where they're striving towards, and that's
And
what
there
the whole goal
won't
is.
be after Saturday. I've got Andrade by victory. TKO.
Andrade.
Yeah. But again, like I said, she's
Odds
19 and
makers
1.
like Andrade as well. Minus 185. Zhang plus 160. The underdog.
Somebody get Jelly Belly to sponsor us.
Yeah, so Jelly Belly, if you're
Fred
hearing
is
us,
eating a lot of these Jelly Belly we have in front of us. We've all been kind of snacking on these delicious Jelly Belly jelly beans.
we're on a sugar high here, man.
Yeah. So UFC 244 going down November 2nd at Madison Square Garden. A bunch of these fights have been announced. Corey Anderson versus Johnny Walker.
Yes, about time.
That is a great
Let's have
fight.
a drink to that.
Derek Lewis versus Blagoy Ivanov.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Kamaru Usman versus Kobe Covington for the UFC welterweight title set for the main event of that card.
That's an amazing card.
I can
already.
already tell you, looking at this card, we will be doing a live watch along on YouTube for this one. This is
better.
a poker night. This is a party. This is a Ringside Report party night. UFC 244.
And we need Johnny to come. We need Johnny to come here.
And also Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till.
That's amazing, man.
And this will be Till's first fight at middleweight.
So
And
what's controversial?
Well, people are saying that this is too tough of a fight considering Gastelum just fought for the title and he's very good. That this is too tough for Darren Till.
Come on,
Till's
are you
coming
serious?
off 2 straight losses to Woodley and then to Masvidal. And people are saying this is too much for Darren Till. The UFC, I mean,
at
Dana
all.
White even said at one point about Darren Till, like, maybe we gave this guy too much too soon. Like, we didn't bring him along properly. And now you give him a tough fight in Kelvin Gastelum, and a lot of people were upset, saying, oh, this is too much, and this is too
Yeah,
tough of a fight.
but that's
and
wrong.
people even asked Dana White about it, and Dana said, look, this is the fight he wanted, so what am I supposed to do? I think it's too tough to, like, he basically was saying, like, I think it's too tough, but he wanted it. It's like, Dana, you're still putting these fights together, man. Like, you're still the promoter. But, of course, nobody there had the backbone to kind of push Dana and ask for a follow-up on it, right?
I think it's a great fight. When I heard about it,
it's a fine fight.
Fine. It's much more than
Gastelum
fine.
used to fight at 170 pounds, too, so I don't think it's a huge size difference. I think it makes sense.
Like, you want to talk mismatch? When I heard, like, today, I think it was announced that Carlos Condit was going to fight Mickey Gall.
What?
That, to me, was a mismatch. Because I'm seeing, like, Carlos Condit has been off for a while, but Carlos Condit has fought some of the best in this business. And Mickey Gall is still, like, a child. Like, I'm sorry.
That fight is actually happening?
That's what I read today.
Oh, nice. Condit's going to win again. That'll be sweet. So,
that, to me, is a mismatch.
Darren Till coming off 2 losses in the UFC. He's missed weight. This move to middleweight is long overdue. He's fought 8 times in the UFC. 2 of his 8 fights, he's missed weight. That's 25% of his fights in the UFC where he hasn't been able to make 170 pounds. Like, when you're missing weight 1 out of every 4 fights, I think it's time to move up in weight divisions, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the video proved that last time. I think it was the first fight the second? Well, regardless, he came out of that sauna and he looked like he was about to die. In fact, I think he was hospitalized and whatnot. That video showed that there had to be new regulations put into the UFC. The weight cut is horrendous. We could, like, Darren Till looked like he was going to die. And to be honest, I'm surprised he survived. The thing, like, honestly speaking, he looked like he was going to die. And the thing is that it's a responsibility of the UFC. But it's true, man. Look at that video. He looked like some dog in the Sahara.
You're surprised he survived.
I'm surprised he survived, man.
Me and Fred both popped for that one. I'm like, what?
But anyways, what it comes down to
say
is
stuff, AJ, and Fred and I just look at each other like, what is this guy saying?
No, it's like the California Athletic Association just said now that Paulo Costa, in their suggestion, has to move up in weight. So there are people that are looking out for certain fighters, and I think they're doing the right job. So Paulo Costa is asked to move up. Darren Till should be asked, and he did move up. Before something happens and a death happens in the UFC because of a weight cut, it just tarnishes the sport.
Okay.
You can't have
AJ,
it.
We're running out of time.
What?
Before we go, we got to do the new segment on the show. It's called 5 Questions.
No, you already gave me 4. You already gave
AJ.
Those were practice.
No.
I gave you practice ones during the commercial break.
Oh, man.
This is the real stuff. All right, AJ?
Where's Johnny?
Here we go. Question 1. This is where we test AJ's basic knowledge and see what he knows about popular culture, current events, or history, or the news, or things that we think he should probably know because most people know.
What are you talking about?
Right,
Like
Fred?
music stuff that I don't understand that you guys listen to, like Britney Spears?
How about this? Here's an easy enough question. Where is Jay-Z from?
Oh my God, what are you asking me this stuff for? Why don't you ask me like where, like
You want the city or the state?
It doesn't matter.
why don't you ask me where Bon Jovi comes from? I'll be able to answer that.
Yeah,
Where does Bon Jovi come from?
From New Jersey, man.
Okay.
Jesus.
Where's Jay-Z from?
He's got to come from somewhere in the States, I imagine. I don't know, Philadelphia?
Wrong.
Well, I was close, I bet.
He's written so many songs about New York and Brooklyn, constantly talking about it. He owns like a part of the arena in Brooklyn.
He looks like a Philly guy, if you ask me.
He's always wearing a Yankees cap. Like, Jay-Z is like New York, like, you know, as the Big Apple or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jay-Z is New York. He's as New York as Central Park, and you don't know that. That's okay, AJ.
Why don't you ask me where Celine Dion comes from? I'll
Here's
tell
a
you.
math question.
Oh, great.
How many sides does an octagon have?
Well, that's pretty easy. The octagon is this. There's no way out once the cage closes. Once it locks up, it's done. You are finished. UFC.
How many
8
sides?
steps to death.
Sides.
Well, you know what? They based the octagon actually on...
How many sides? Answer the question.
Listen, I'm going to answer it.
We're
because
short
it's
on
actually
time.
on a kung fu
We gotta
form
go.
called the 8 forms of the Bagua. So it's based on 8 forms of Bagua, which is
So?
Chinese kung fu.
8.
Ask AJ.
You got it.
AJ's a genius.
Okay, the
ahead.
province we are in, Quebec.
What about
is,
it?
What is the capital of this province?
Other than Putin, it would probably be... the capital would be... Technically, originally, it was Montreal, which was the first capital of Canada. But then...
We're talking
Over time,
about the province.
What is
huh?
the
Quebec
capital?
City.
There you go. Wow. AJ, scoring some points. We're impressed with you, AJ.
Oh, come on.
Okay, AJ.
Why don't you ask me like
Now
something?
I have to get the
Like,
timer.
why don't I ask
now
you
I
a
have
question?
to get the timer ready. This is going to be a fun one, okay?
Where's Alex Trebek is back,
Okay,
by
you're
the
going to
way.
have 30 seconds, okay?
For what? Why are you putting me in this stress?
Name 5
Oh, no.
cheeses in 30 seconds. Go.
5 cheeses. Oka. Camembert, Parmesan, Kraft cheese.
That's not.
No, it is. It's a plastic cheese,
no.
man. It counts.
You have 3.
And the big cheese,
You've
which
only
is my
done
boss.
3.
Come on, go
I did
Italian.
5.
You've only done
Oh,
3.
Parmesan. Did I say Parmesan?
already did.
Mozzarella.
Oh, okay.
And the
That's
big.
4.
I called it the big cheese. I said Parmesan.
You've only done 4.
You're missing one, man.
What am I missing?
You have 5 seconds.
Oh, that's Camembert. I called it Oka.
You already said that.
I did say Oka cheese.
Yeah,
Blue
and
cheese.
4.
Stilton.
Oh, no, too late.
What are you
30
talking
seconds.
about?
You screwed that one up. And finally, your final question on AJ's 5 questions. What?
Oh, wait. You passed 5 questions, actually.
No, that was 4. Here's your 5th.
Why don't you ask me something about
What is Fred's daughter's name?
Cutie Patootie. That's what it's called. Cutie Patootie. Show a picture of your daughter.
Do you know?
Yes.
What is it?
I just said
What
it.
is
Cutie Patootie.
I'm gonna put the clock back on, AJ. You have 15 seconds to answer.
Cutie
What
Patootie.
is Fred's
What? Why are you asking me
daughter's
this stuff?
name? 15
First of all,
seconds.
I'm going to tell you this.
15 seconds on the clock, AJ.
It's okay. So on a legal note here at Ringside Report, we're not allowed to disclose minors under 16 years old for the fact that these kids can be solicited in ways that we
Fred,
shouldn't.
do you give consent to give your daughter's
There's no
first name?
No, that can't
Fred
take
gives consent.
It comes from the mother. Here in Quebec, the rules state that the mother has to give consent. So AJ calls
I'm
her Cutie
disappointed in
Patootie.
you. I'm disappointed in you.
What are you talking
We
about?
went to Park Safari with her.
It's all about the kids.
Is it though? You don't even know the
It's
kids
all
of
about the
Ringside
kids.
Report. The Ringside Report children. Do you know what my son's name? You see him every week.
I can't say it according to the.
You're allowed. I'm giving
not, I don't want to do it, Dave. You never know. There's a lot of weirdos out
All
there.
right. Well, it's been a fun show, AJ. We've tested your knowledge, and we'll do it again next week.
Why me?
Here's a
Let's
little.
I'm gonna do the questions on you guys.
Because you're the one who didn't know who Rihanna was.
What?
And you
Yeah,
didn't. And you
well-
didn't know if Biggie and Tupac were East or West Coast. You
Central.
thought they were both Central Coast. And then we realized
Coast.
that there's nothing.
See,
Do you know what a coast is?
the thing is that everybody comes together on the world of
Here's
AJ.
a bonus question. What state?
Bonus. It's over now, man.
What state is Washington D.C.
It
in?
don't matter, man. The Capitals. Took
All
over.
right. Thanks everybody for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment if you have some questions for AJ, things you think he'll know or won't know.
What about you guys,
Leave
man? Why
them
is it all
on the
about
comments
AJ?
because Fred and I are geniuses and we know everything. All right.
If you
Fred
guys
and
have
I-
any questions for the boys over here,
Fred and I
Please
are the
support them to me.
Trebeks of this show.
what are you talking about? You didn't even know that Alex Trebek was back. He's back on his show.
I know everything about Alex Trebek. Me and Trebek are like this. All right.
Well, you kind of look like him.
We wear the same.
If you had a
jean
mustache,
jackets.
you'd look like him, actually.
Exactly. There you go. So go to the YouTube channel,
Davey
subscribe to the channel, ringsidereport.net for more info on that. Tune in to Wrestling Uncensored. Go check it out every Saturday night on TSN 690. This Saturday night after the something, there'll be something and we'll be on. So listen to Wrestling Uncensored. Go to ringsidereport.net for more info on all of that. Follow AJ at Danny Bruck on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Freddie at Freddie MMA, and you can follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA.
Don't forget our Instagram accounts and all the rest. Dave.
Yeah, at Ringside Report on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Very important.
Very important. For Freddie and AJ, I'm Dave. Thanks for listening and watching. This has been Ringside Report.
You were waiting for me to say it, eh?
I thought you were going to say something.
You know what? I wanted to wait.
We're still on. You
Are
know
we?
that, right?
Oh.
It's weird.
You
like,
think it's easy working with these guys?
What do you mean?
I love them. They're my brothers. They're my homies. They're my brothers from another mother.
Did you like 5 questions with AJ?
I thought I did pretty
Fred,
well.
are you hurt that he didn't know the name of your daughter?
A little bit.
Yeah, I am too.
No. I don't disclose names on air, man.
Do you actually not know?
I don't disclose names on air. What happens
right.
if there's some weirdo out there?
All right, maybe that's it. Maybe he does know, and he's just
You
not
could tell
disclosing.
Lucy's name.
No, don't say that.
Oh, Fred's going at you now. Oh, here we go. Now there's things
But
happening.
it rhymes like that.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes?
Yo, how jacked is Busta Rhymes?
He looked amazing, man.
Looked
What's he taking?
huge.
TRT? He's taking Vito Belfort stuff. That's what he's
That
taking.
motherfucker is yoked.
Whatever he's taking, I want.
You guys notice I forgot we were on radio and I said shit?
Yeah.
That rarely happens to me. Like, that never happens.
That's 'cause
I never
I-
slip up.
I'll
And then
tell you.
I said shit,
And
and
then-
then you said it right after me because you're like, oh, I guess we can swear now. It's like, did you also forget we're recording the radio
Listen, man.
show? Fuck,
Listen,
man.
I'm rubbing off on
Like
you.
on
That's
YouTube,
what it comes down to.
On YouTube, we can say whatever we want, but we were also doing the radio
Dave,
show
think
at the
about
same
the
time.
ratings. I always keep telling you this. You say
Well, I
shit,
said motherfucker on the show last
the
week.
ratings went up through the roof. YouTube fans are going like, Dave just swore.
I
Dave
bleeped it
just
out
swore.
though. I bleeped it out. But you
Why?
can get all the shits and fucks on the podcast on the YouTube show too, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
when
mean,
when we swear, the commercial breaks, all the extra stuff. Like, I know there are some people that are still just listening to this show on the radio, but they're missing out because there's like all this extra stuff that we do. If you download the podcast, you get the extra stuff uncensored. If you watch the YouTube thing, you get it all uncensored. So
it's like Matt Serra. Ever watch his show, man? He'll just like go off like banter. I think it's awesome. Michael Bisping.
Yeah, but his show's not on AM radio.
do we have any fucking
point.
jelly beans left? Like, we were really
What
going
the
on.
hell's with the
Look
swearing?
at all these jelly beans.
We weren't joking, man. Those were like some pretty good jelly beans, man. Were they spiked by any chance?
Yeah, they're weed jelly beans. You're going to be very high.
I feel like I'm very high right now.
Do you?
Well, actually, it is kind of hot in here. Do you find?
High on
What
sugar.
happened to the air conditioner?
You're just sugar high.
Our studio, man.
Is you're hot? I can put it on.
No one noticed my hat, by the way.
It's cool here.
Did you notice my hat?
All right,
Freddie?
we're
Did you
wrapping
like it?
this thing up. This show is done.
What are we talking about?
I hear everybody coming. We're gonna wrap this thing up.
Oh,
We're shutting
man.
down.
We're going down.
Yeah, we're shutting down.
So,
Shows happened.
but-
We've done the show. I'll
Right.
be back tomorrow with Johnny around 12:30 for Dave and Johnny Live. Watch me then.
I want to watch it. Yeah.
AJ will watch it. All right. So thanks everybody. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Leave a comment. Dave and Johnny Live tomorrow at 12:30. We love you all. Thanks for watching. See you all. Well, I'll see you all tomorrow, and then they'll see you all next week, unless AJ's here for All Out, which maybe. So they'll see you next week. Fred, blow him a kiss.
Blow my kiss.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it.